was super excited when I decoded my first Nostradamus quatrain. I thought my viewers would share my excitement. After all, I must be the first one to find those clusters with information never before revealed. However, I did not get the warm reception I normally get from my crop circle or conspiracy decodings. Well, I'm not the kind that gives up easily. So I have since published 10 more videos on Nostradamus and a book. However, instead of being my icebreakers, they are kind of ice-boxed. Those are really good videos. In less than a month, the first 5 videos won 2 film awards and 7 film festival acceptances. Those are great videos. So why don't people like it? Today I got the answer. No matter how exactly Nostradamus' prophecies were fulfilled, those are all in the past. What is on everyone's mind is what will happen next. There are many predictions for 2017. Most sound scary, but everyone I saw referred to Nostradamus offered no evidence on how they came to the conclusion that Nostradamus made the prophecy. Well, you may not agree to all of my points, but I will show you exactly which quatrain contains the warning, why I am sure it is about this event to happen. Like I said, people could care less about what you think will happen until you can prove that you are not wasting their time. In the 9 months since we released our predictions for 2017 based on Nostradamus' quatrains, many events have happened. Let's take a look back on what we said and see if our Nostradamus interpretations hit any marks. The first quatrain I want to share with you is about a possible nuclear attack involving North Korea. Quatrain 217, quote, "The field of the Temple of the Vestal Virgin, not far from Eln and the Pyrenees Mountains. The great tube is hidden in the trunk. To the north, rivers overflown and the vines battered." I believe this quatrain describes a coming conflict between North and South Korea. The virgin on line 1 is South Korea's current president, Park Geun-hye. Her father, former President Park Chung-hee, was assassinated in 1979, while her mother was assassinated 2 months earlier in 1979. She was the first female Korean president, and she never married. Korea has the mountainous north and the flat south. Seoul is only 35 miles to the border with the north. I personally think this quatrain warns about a possible attack with a weapon concealed. Will the Great Tube be some kind of nuclear weapon? I don't know, but I sure hope not. The fourth line mentions north rivers overflown and vines battered. Seoul is on the Han River, which flows from the north to the south. Is this a depiction of the force coming from the north? As for the timing of this conflict, I think it will be soon. As President Park already was impeached, the next Winter Olympic is only 1 year away. So escalation of tensions should already be in the works. Pyrenees can also mean Pyeongchang, which is the city hosting the 2018 Winter Olympics. Can that be the city to be attacked? Possible, but Pyongyang is more likely since the word mountain is mentioned. Don't forget the quote, "Great tube is hidden in the trunk," is mentioned. What kind of tube can be called great? What kind of weapon can be hidden in the trunk? Adding these two together and you get a gruesome picture. Of course, no one can imagine using nuclear weapons on his own people, even for a madman like Kim Jong-un. But the attack can be aimed at anyway, especially when you take a look at the next quatrain.
The first prediction is about Korea based on Quatrain 217. Finding the quatrain in the Book of Prophecy, Century 2, is alarming because I called Century 2 the Doomsday chapter. And this quatrain mentioned about the Great Tube, which I believe is about a nuclear weapon. 3 months after our prediction, North Korea started its first missile test. On September the 3rd, 2017, North Korea tested its first hydrogen bomb, which caused a 6.3 magnitude quake.
In Quatrain 181, quote, 9 will be set apart from the human flock, separated from judgment and advice. Their fate is to be divided as they depart. K-T-H-L, dead, banished and scattered. As I decoded before, 9 is a reference to North Korea's 9 provinces. North Korea is the last country locked behind the Iron Curtain. The North Koreans' fate was divided when the North Perimeter Line 38 was drawn in 1953, but without a peace agreement. The Korean War is considered ongoing till this day. Why do I think this quatrain holds clues about the future? To answer that question, let me first ask you, how do you pronounce K-T-H-L? Does it sound like Kim Jong-un? Of course, you can say it sounded like Kim Jong-il, the father, or Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-un's grandfather and founder of North Korea. But when Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il died, they were given godlike status. They were not banished nor scattered. So that means most likely Kim Jong-un will lose or will be overthrown and die. That must be good news to many, especially to the many Koreans who have lost freedom or families during the 65 years of war. But let me ask you another question. Do you think Kim Jong-un will go down without a fight? Now, what do you think when you read Quatrain 181? Another quatrain I previously thought was about President Bush actually is more likely about North Korea. It has some clues everyone missed. Quatrain 178, quote, to no leader will be born an idiot heir, weak both in knowledge and in war. That the leader of France is feared by his sister. Battlefields divided conceded to the soldiers. The first 2 lines needs no explanation. But remember, Kim Il-sung led the Korean War in the 1950s. Although hated by the free world, you can't say he is weak in knowledge because he got support from Russia and China and forced the truce. His son, Kim Jong-il, did not start a new conflict. So that means the one who inherits power from father and is likely to start a new war can only be Kim Jong-un. The meaning of the leader of France is feared by his sister troubled me, because I don't consider solving 3 lines of the quatrain the job completed. However, I think I know what they may mean now. Assuming Kim Jong-il did start an attack or nuclear terrorism, what do you think the West would do? Before you answer that question, think, what did President-elect Trump say when he was asked if he will use nuclear weapons? And what do you think the Western countries need to do next? Get a Security Council approval for an attack? Since France is a member of the Security Council and has voted against America 5 times in the past, is France's veto power the cause of concern by his sister countries? You have to say it is quite likely, right? We decoded Quatrain 181 as about North Korea in January 2017 and believed K, T-H, L as Kim Jong-un, pronounced Nostradamus' way. On February 13, 2017, Kim Jong-un ordered the kill of his half-brother Kim Jong-nam.
Although I still think the quatrain is about Kim Jong-un, we can't rule out that KTHL is about Kim Jong-nam. He was the oldest and presumably heir to North Korea, but lost the chance when his father considered him a weak idiot, and he was banished and died outside his country.
The fourth line, battlefields divided, conceded to the soldiers, can mean the line dividing the two countries of Korea, or it can mean the divided opinion on how to fight the battle, since line 3 seems to indicate conflicts of strategies. However, the outcome of the war seems to lie on this last part of the quatrain, conceded to the soldiers. I think this points either to defection of soldiers or a military coup. This can be applied to both sides, with a prior quatrain pointing to Kim Jong-un's death and disgrace. This most likely means the defeat of the North caused by its internal conflict. Now, let's see what else Nostradamus said about the very near future. Some people said Nostradamus predicted a Trump win, which I really can't say I agree. However, I did decode the August 12th, 2016 ANSI crop circle on 10/30/2016, which indicated a Trump victory with help from the East, like Russia and WikiLeaks. That was published 9 days before the election, which you can check it out. There are many videos about a possible Trump impeachment or Trump assassination, but I don't know which quatrain they base their predictions on, so I can't offer my opinion. However, I did find some quatrains that may be about President Trump. We read in quatrain 140, quote, "The false trumpet concealing madness will cause Byzantium to change its laws. From Egypt there will go forth a man who wants the edict withdrawn, changing money and standards."
We predicted Turkey possibly being under martial law, which has not happened. But we said Egypt will have inflation problems. Actually, Egypt's currency did lose 50% of its value. We were unaware of it, but that happened in November 2016. So Nostradamus was right, but we can't take credit for predicting it because it already happened when we made that video.
The only link between this quatrain and President Trump is the word trumpet, which is weak at best. But many people do consider him mad. But he would not have won that many votes if he did not conceal the madness. So that kind of strengthens the link a bit. If this quatrain is about President Trump, then we will soon see a major change in Turkey, possibly a coup or martial law, and Egypt would have inflation and civil rights problems. Because Egypt and Turkey both are Arab countries in the Middle East, this may mean worsening conflicts in the Middle East. However, the Middle East has been under constant chaos for the last 70 years, so only problems in Turkey and Egypt can link this quatrain to the current time. But with Turkey being in constant chaos and Egypt's Christian minority being targeted for violence, this quatrain may be the alarm for now. I think the real message hidden is not in this quatrain, but the quatrain before it. Like I said, many of Nostradamus' quatrains are related when they are listed together. And this quatrain is right before the trumpet quote. Quatrain 139, quote, "At night the last one will be strangled in his bed, because he became too involved with the blonde heir elect. The empire is enslaved and 3 men substituted. He is put to death with neither letter nor packet read." Let's look at the interesting quote of blonde heir elect. Assuming that is the best French to English translation, that may have something to do with President Trump. If this is about Trump, then a few things will need to happen for this quatrain to be correct. Number 1, someone of great importance will be strangled in bed, and the person is too involved with either Trump or Trump's family. Number 2, 3 men held important positions will be substituted. Number 3, someone will be condemned to death without a proper trial. If one of these conditions happens, then it is likely the other 2 may follow. But I don't see President Trump being assassinated, at least not from this quatrain.
I thought quatrain 139 may be about President Trump, and I said the line, "The empire is enslaved and 3 men substituted," meant we may have 3 Supreme Court justices replaced. As that for sure will change America. And luckily we only have 1 new Supreme Court justice replaced. However, we did have more than 3 officials in important positions to substitute. In February, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn was replaced by H.R. McMaster. In May 2017, James Comey was fired as FBI Director and replaced by Christopher Wray. In July, Michael Dubke, the Communications Director, was replaced by Anthony Scaramucci, and then again replaced by Acting Director Hope Hicks. Government Ethics Director Walter Schaub was replaced by Acting Director David Apol. Around the same time, Press Secretary Sean Spicer was replaced by Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Also in July, White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus was replaced by Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. While at the same time, press aide Michael Short and top Middle East advisor Derek Harvey both were let go. And in August 2017, Director of Public Liaison George Sifakis and Chief Strategist Stephen Bannon both were let go. Sadly, Nostradamus was right again.
So, what will happen? These are my predictions for 2017, partially based on Nostradamus' quatrains. Number 1, Turkey will have many more attacks which will lead to martial laws. 2, Turkey will be involved in regional conflicts. 3, the Korean Peninsula will have a terrible year ahead. 4, conflicts involving Taiwan and China. 5, Middle East conflicts escalate. 6, ISIS intensifies terror activities. 7, more earthquakes. 8, inflation on the run. 9, racial conflicts in the USA. 10, unexplained weather changes. Of course, most of these are bound to happen sooner or later. And because I'm not Nostradamus, you can bet on me being wrong on all of these predictions.
I listed 10 things to watch for in 2017. The first 2 were about Turkey. Although Turkey has had many more attacks and was involved in regional conflicts, it did not enact martial law. But the Korean Peninsula did have a terrible year, and war could break out any time. There is no conflict between China and Taiwan, but China almost had an all-out war with India. The Middle East conflicts continue to escalate, and ISIS did intensify its terror activities big time. We've had so many earthquakes, I don't even know when they will stop. And inflation is terrible in some countries and likely to get worse after these hurricanes. And racial conflicts not only continue here in the U.S., we now have white supremacist attacks. And if you don't think there are weather changes, take a look at what Harvey, Irma, and Maria did to us.
Knowing the future is not impossible, as we can see proof of that in Nostradamus' Book of Prophecy. However, decoding the messages is harder than we think. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why we call it the present. We are one step closer to unveiling the future with one quatrain decoded. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.